What if your worth was measured in how soft your skin looked to a stranger? You're not born into this world to live. You're born to be weighed by the texture of your skin, the angle of your jaw, the purity of your voice. You are not raised with love, but with potential. Someday, someone might come looking for someone like you. You are not a servant. You are not a lover. You are not even considered human in the truest sense. You are a possession, a costly, curated object, something to be bought, renamed, reshaped, a breathing ornament to be bent toward another man's desire. While the annals of history spill ink on the tragedies of female concubines, there is silence around the boys, but they were always there, hidden in footnotes, buried beneath euphemisms like Nan Chong, male favorites, or Tongling, which meant beautiful young spirit. For over 2,000 years, across the Han, Tang, Song, and Ming dynasties, you and boys like you were collected, consumed, and forgotten. Your story begins with hunger, not yours, your family's. Crops fail, floods swallow the village, coin vanishes. In the ruins of famine, someone whispers that a beautiful son can fetch a price. Daughters are sold into servitude, but sons, if soft enough, are sold into silence. And so they come for you. They arrive on horseback with silver in their sleeves. Talent scouts, men called Ren Ya or human teeth. They smile at your parents. They offer contracts they know your family can't read. The papers gleam like hope, but they are prison gates. You stand in the doorway while your mother weeps quietly, turned away. She can't look you in the eye. The inspection is thorough. You are told to undress. They check your teeth for decay, your hands for callus. They study your bone structure, the shape of your skull, the width of your shoulders. They speak about you as though you're not there. You are weighed not for strength, but for softness, and whether you will stay pretty long enough to make the price worth it. Your voice is tested, your eyes are measured for brightness. They ask you to walk, to smile, to recite whatever scraps of poetry you might know. They're not looking for talent, they're looking for potential. You are an investment. If you are chosen, it happens fast. One nod, one bag of coins, one contract, and you're gone. There is no goodbye. You are whisked away before your parents can change their minds, or worse, before you can beg them not to let you go. You are given a new name, something poetic, always. Precious Jade, Autumn Moon, Crimson Willow. The names are meant to evoke beauty, fragility, and elegance, as though you were a painting, not a person. Your head is shaved, your old clothes burned. In their place, silk robes wrap around your shivering body. You do not recognize the boy in the mirror anymore. You aren't supposed to. The training begins the moment you arrive. It is brutal, deliberate, a slow erasure. You are taught to bow without sound, to kneel without resistance, to smile without emotion. There is a curriculum more detailed than most noble boys will ever endure. You are not simply trained in obedience. You are sculpted. You memorize poetry from the Book of Songs. You practice calligraphy until your fingers bleed. You are expected to learn music, the guqin, the pipa, the bamboo flute. You recite lines of classical philosophy while your stomach grumbles from skipped meals. You are taught to walk with grace, speak with charm, and serve tea with hands that do not tremble. This isn't education. It is performance training. And failure has consequences. Disobedience earns you beatings. Displeasure brings starvation. If you cry too loudly, they stuff your mouth with cloth. If you resist too often, they isolate you until the silence itself becomes unbearable. You learn to suppress yourself. The boy who once laughed in the river, ran through fields, fought with siblings. He is being dismantled piece by piece. And in his place, they are building someone who can survive in a cage lined with silk. They teach you to sing. They teach you to dance. But most of all, they teach you to please. There is no end date to this training. It ends only when your owner arrives. The wealthy arrive in processions, government officials, merchants with silks flowing behind them, sometimes even monks in secret. They survey the boys like auctioneers choosing horses. They want charm, they want wit, they want someone who can recite the Analects by heart and look pretty doing it. When you are chosen, you are delivered like a gift. You do not speak unless spoken to. You sit quietly as the new master decides where you'll sleep, what you'll wear, and how you'll be addressed. You are no longer a student, you are now property. You are placed in a home that is not yours, filled with servants who don't speak to you. You occupy a strange place, above laborers, below wives, a beautiful ghost in a painted cage. In port cities like Guangzhou or Jiangsu, entire economies thrive on boys like you. The trade routes are lined with silk and sorrow. Some households boast entire wings filled with male concubines. You are not rare. You are part of a system so normalized that people barely notice it. But the truth is this: you were a child, and now you are a possession. You wear perfume instead of scars, but you bleed just the same. And somewhere, deep in the countryside, your mother lights incense for a son she will never see again. She does not know whether you are dead or alive, only that you were sold. You rise before the sun, you bathe in silence. Cold water, no heat, no comfort. You spend the next hour applying powders and oils to your face, smoothing away sleep, smoothing away yourself. The mirror doesn't show a boy, it shows an object in the making. Each day is a cycle of grooming, rehearsing, surviving. You begin with poetry, hundreds of verses, repeated until your tongue stumbles from exhaustion. You write calligraphy for hours until your hands ache. And then music, the guqin, the pipa, the flute. If your fingers falter, the bamboo stick cracks across your back. You do not flinch. Flinching invites more. They teach you dance. Movement is elegance. Even your suffering must be graceful. You are drilled in theatrical performance, how to bow, smile, laugh on cue. You are taught to charm like a courtesan, serve like a slave, and walk like a painted marionette. Some days you are ordered to practice massage. Others, you are drilled in herbal medicine, not for healing, but to better serve your master when he aches. You are taught how to pour tea with reverence, how to read a man's face and sense what mood he brings before he even speaks. They say it is training, but you know better. It is erasure. You begin to forget who you were, where you came from, what your name once was. You are no longer your parents' child. You are no longer anyone's. They break you gently, cruelly. Praise and punishment are given in the same breath. One day you are offered a silk robe for a perfect recitation. The next, you are starved for speaking out of turn. You learn quickly that kindness is just another lever of control. They collapse under the pressure, from hunger, from beatings, from the slow despair of being unwanted and watched. They vanish in the night. You find their sleeping mats empty, the sheets cold, the space never spoken of again. You know they're dead. Everyone knows. No one says a word. The mortality rate is never written in records, but you feel it in the silence. For every 10 boys who enter this training, 4 do not survive. Those who fail are buried without markers, without ceremony. Their families are never notified. To the world, they never existed. And yet, you continue. Eventually, the training ends. Not because you finished, but because your owner has summoned you. You live in a gilded cage, a private room with silk curtains and carved furniture. But the door locks from the outside. The windows are barred. You are not free to leave, not even to breathe without permission. You spend hours choosing the right robe, the right scent, the right hairstyle to suit your master's mood. If he prefers poetry, you recite. If he prefers song, you sing. If he prefers silence, you kneel quietly by his side, waiting for some small acknowledgement that you did not displease him today. Displeasing him is dangerous. Favor means survival. Disfavor means scraps of food, locked doors, cold rooms, and colder stairs. You learn to monitor every breath he takes, every blink of his eye, every twitch in his jaw. You know when he wants laughter. You know when to vanish. Your body is currency. Your mind is decoration. Your value is your silence. Within the household, competition is ruthless. Other boys like you, beautiful, broken, trained, watch you with wary eyes. They are not your friends. They are your rivals. The master pits you against each other like prized animals in a contest for his attention. Rewards are dangled. Finer meals, warmer blankets, softer treatment. But behind every smile is a knife. You do not trust anyone. You cannot. Older concubines, long past their prime, wield authority like wardens. They enforce the master's will. They punish newcomers for stepping out of line. Now, they've become what they had to in order to survive. Initiation is brutal. Hazing is common. You are denied food, mocked in front of guests, slapped for speaking out of turn. You are reminded constantly you are replaceable. You are one of many. And beauty, they say, is fleeting. And yet, the schedule never stops. Mornings are for practice, calligraphy, music, poetry. Afternoons are for duties, massage, small talk, attending banquets where you perform like a trained animal for the master's wealthy guests. Nights are for service, and whatever the master desires that night, you must fulfill it with a smile. Your stomach learns to shrink. Some days, you feast on roast duck and honeyed wine if you've pleased him. Other days, you are left with cold rice and bitter tea. It depends on his mood and how perfectly you performed. You are kept thin on purpose. Thin is beautiful. Thin is desirable. Thin means obedient. Illness is unacceptable. Sick boys are useless boys, and useless boys disappear. The physicians are careless. Their herbs taste of rot. If you collapse from overwork or blood loss, you are treated in silence and hidden from view. The master cannot be reminded that his toys break. And still, you endure, because the only thing worse than being trapped in this life is being cast out of it. In the palace, you are closer to a god than a man, and gods are cruel when they're bored. The palace is not a place, it's a prison made of perfume and gold. By the time you arrive, your name is gone, replaced by something floral, delicate, absurd. The guards at the gate do not look at your face. They look at your wrists, your gait, your posture. You walk like a dancer. You lower your eyes like a wife. You smile like a secret. Inside the forbidden city, silence is survival. The air smells of sandalwood and wet ink. Behind every screen lurks a eunuch with a scroll, a concubine with painted lips, a minister with a grudge. And all of them watch you, the emperor's newest toy, with hunger or hatred. Sometimes both. You are not the first boy they've seen dressed like a silk blossom, and you won't be the last. The emperor doesn't need to touch you to own you. His glance alone can undo your breath. He summons you not by name, but by a silk banner with your title stitched in gold. You wait behind a curtain until a eunuch whispers, "His Majesty is pleased tonight." That can mean many things, some of them bearable, others less so. When you enter the chamber, you bow so low your forehead touches marble. The emperor does not ask you to rise. He lets you wait, trembling, exposed, fragile in your brocade robes, until he's ready. He likes to inspect you like a piece of lacquerware, turning your hand to see the veins, running his finger along your jaw to feel the smoothness of youth. Sometimes he laughs, sometimes he says nothing at all. You sleep beside him not as a lover, but as a placeholder, a warm body shake to soothe the void where trust used to live. He does not confide in you. He does not ask what you feel. You're there to flatter, to entertain, to disappear when dismissed. If he wakes in the night, you must soothe him with a story. If he shivers, you must offer your arms. If he weeps, and he does sometimes, after the wine and poems fade, you must not speak of it to anyone, not even to the mirror, especially not to the mirror. Power here is terrifying because it's random. One moment, the emperor might raise you to favored consort, letting you wear the phoenix pin usually reserved for women. The next, he might accuse you of witchcraft because he dreamed of your death. That dream is enough. Nothing more is needed. You've seen others vanish overnight, favorites whose laughter once filled the garden, whose perfume lingered in the halls. Their names are scratched out from the records, their bodies never found. You once saw a boy buried alive beneath the peony trees. His crime: the emperor kissed him too tenderly in front of the empress dowager. The soil was still soft the next morning. You try not to fall in love, but love is the only thing that doesn't hurt. You tell yourself it's not real, that the smile he gave you was meant for someone else, that the wine you shared in secret meant nothing, but you feel it anyway, like a wound that never heals, only deepens. You steal glances at another boy during music lessons. He's younger, newly arrived, and he still believes kindness means safety. You try to warn him with your eyes, don't laugh too loudly, don't charm too well, but it's too late. One night, the emperor calls his name instead of yours. The next morning, the boy's hair is shaved, his robes torn, his voice quiet forever. You learn again, there is no love here, only use. The empress hates you, not because you're male, but because you remind her that he can be touched by others. She can't bear the sound of your laughter in the eastern wing. Her maids spill oil on your slippers. Her brother whispers lies about you to the court astrologers. You live in constant suspense, one rumor away from ruin. The officials mutter about corruption. The scholars write essays condemning male concubines as moral decay in human form. They compare you to poisonous blossoms, beautiful, useless, and dangerous. And while they condemn you in public, they send servants in secret to request delicate company for their own chambers. The palace walls are painted red, but you only notice the shadows. You hear music at dusk, soft zithers, flutes echoing through lacquered halls, but to you, it sounds like a dirge, a funeral for your past self, the boy you were before silk and scent and silence. And still you smile, still you bow, still you survive. You tell yourself you're lucky. After all, you're alive. But you know, deep down, you are not living, you are lingering, like incense smoke, waiting for the wind to blow you out. You no longer wait to be destroyed. You rot in place, like fruit no one dares to touch. You were once summoned nightly, your face filled poems. Your laugh, they said, brought spring into the emperor's chamber. But that was years ago. Now, no one knocks at your door, no one dares to. Your silks hang untouched, the gold leaf on your mirror flakes like dry skin. You sit beside it, older now, softer in the face, stiffer in the knees. You are not yet 30, but in this world, that makes you ancient. A relic of someone else's pleasure. A body once worshipped, now forgotten. You still wear rouge, out of habit more than hope, but your hands tremble when you hold the brush. Some days, the pigment dries on your lips before anyone sees it. The emperor doesn't even glance at you during ceremonies. His eyes find newer faces, smooth, trembling, eager to please. You remember watching someone else fade into the walls while you rose like smoke. Now it's your turn to disappear. The eunuchs don't whisper when you pass anymore. You are no longer a threat. You're barely a memory. And memories here are dangerous. Too much nostalgia, and people start asking, where is he now? Why was he cast aside? What did he do wrong? Better to forget, better for everyone. You spend your days in a small, unused pavilion in the northwest corner of the palace. It smells of old camphor and rotting paper. You used to fear exile. Now you find it peaceful. No one comes. No one listens. You can speak your thoughts aloud. Sometimes you talk to the porcelain dolls left behind by a dead princess. They are your most loyal audience. Sometimes a servant will bring you tea. They don't meet your eyes. They pour and bow and vanish. You wonder what they've been told about you, that you used to share the emperor's bed, that you once wore the phoenix comb reserved for royal favorites, that your beauty turned a nation's stomach. You want to tell them, I didn't ask for this. I didn't choose it, I only survived it, but they wouldn't understand. No one ever does. Your body begins to change. Softness turns to stiffness. Your back aches when you rise. Your hair thins. In this palace, beauty is not just currency, it's permission to exist. Without it, you are nothing. You try remedies, rice vinegar, bear bile, crushed pearls. Nothing works. The mirror becomes your enemy. You cover it with silk. But at night, in candlelight, you catch your reflection in the window. A ghost in red robes, still painted, still waiting. For what? You don't know anymore. Some nights, you dream of your village, of rain-soaked fields, of a dog barking in the distance, of your mother's voice calling you in for supper. But the dream always ends the same way, with silence. Her voice fades, the fields vanish. You wake up staring at silk ceilings, breathing in incense instead of air. You've forgotten what fresh air smells like. One day, a new boy arrives. He passes your pavilion on the way to his lessons. He looks at you, truly looks, the way no one has in years. You smile, you shouldn't. He bows. You shouldn't bow back, but you do. You try not to get attached. He is beautiful, doomed. You see it in his eyes, that fragile hope, that willingness to be loved. You know exactly how he'll break. He visits again, leaves a peach on your doorstep. You haven't tasted one in years. It's sweet, it hurts your teeth. You cry while eating it. He asks you for stories. You tell him some, not the worst ones, not yet, but you see it in his face. He still believes he can survive this place. You want to scream, you won't, but you just smile and nod and wave goodbye. There are rumors that the emperor has grown paranoid, that someone has cursed his dreams, that an old concubine was seen lighting incense under the moon. They say he's cleansing the palace of bad spirits. Where would you go? You return to your mirror, comb your hair, line your eyes, apply the rouge. You look perfect, like the memory of who you used to be. They come for you at dusk. You ask if you may walk. The guards hesitate, then nod. You walk past the gardens, past the peonies and the persimmons, past the pond where you once fed koi with him. You stop. The light is beautiful here. The air is cool. You almost feel free. Then they bind your hands. They say nothing. Neither do you. Some say you were drowned in the lotus pool. Some say you were buried under the palace tiles. Some say your ghost still walks the north pavilion, humming lullabies to the dolls of a dead princess. But the truth is simpler. You were loved for a moment, and then you were erased.